Welcome back, everybody. I'm Chad. This is Carter Engineering and Fabrication, and this is week 7 of 2025 of me bringing you guys along for some show and tell of what I've been working on this week. So let's get into it. All right, so like I mentioned last week, I had these 3 used light boxes that I saved from the dumpster, and I thought, this makes a really cool Buick, Olds, Pontiac sign. I actually had all 3 brands in the garage at the same time, and so with a little work in SolidWorks, I have a layout completed using a mixture of aluminum sheet, laser cut, as well as white, red, gray, and blue acrylic, which my friends at Send Cut Send cut out for me. So yeah, once those got cut out, parts arrived, and the excitement begins, jumping right into quick test fit. Everything fit beautifully. Had to rack the boxes a little bit. The parts were really good, and there was some damage here that I'm hammering, dollying out. They're a little crusty, but they're aluminum, and the price was right. So here I am cutting the pieces out. Shame on me. Actually, I broke one of the Lexan pieces, but I was able to glue it and save it. Peeling this backer off. If anybody has any tricks on how to get this shit off, let me know, because I fought it much longer than I should have. I cut this video down a lot. So just a quick pan over the Oldsmobile. The Pontiac, it split right at the edge of a cross in the center. And then there's the Buick symbol. I'm really happy with how these turned out. Proportions look great. They just I laser cut in the holes for 632 PEM studs, which I'll point out when I press those in a moment. But to save a little bit of cost, I got the same backer panel for all 3, so I had to do my own layout to drill the holes. The cost savings of getting it done this way versus having 3 unique pieces when Send Cut Send really encourages you to cut multiple of things. So here we are transferring some of the holes over a little backer so I can apply downward pressure and drill into the sacrificial plywood. It helps with some of the chip out. Drilling acrylic rather, not Lexan, can be a little nerve-wracking at times. So here I am using a pretty small 1/4" drive socket as the female die, and then just pounding the PEM studs in. I would have done this on the press, but it's in the other side and it's cold, and I didn't want to be cold. So these are just zinc coated steel PEM studs. They drive into the aluminum really nicely, minimal distortion. It's a pretty nice way to go. Yeah, it is visible, but it's so small, and it's so easy compared to anything that has swelling involved, like rivets or anything like that. I always worry about cracking, and any visible headed fastener is just going to be a little less aesthetically pleasing. So if you've never used these, McMaster has a pretty decent assortment, or if you have a better supplier, please let me know. But here I am again stripping off the this backer material is terrible. I got a little better as time went on. I left this in just to show my pain because the struggle was real. Eventually found that rolling it up like onto itself, kind of like a rolling pin, and that got a little better. You see me starting to realize that here, that just the way the glue shears off of the surface. I won't bore you with too much of that, but old bed sheet, and then trying to keep the scratches on this stuff to a minimum. I don't think it would be so bad compared to clear parts, but still trying to keep it looking nice. Starting to lay out the Oldsmobile, pressing the studs through. I was a little snug on some of the holes, but it's always easy enough to open them up. This one, the whole Oldsmobile goes together with the studs because it has all the aluminum trim. The other 2 required clear acrylic, which I used a Loctite 2-part epoxy or 2-part adhesive. I actually don't know what it is. I didn't pay that much attention, if I'm being honest. Loctite adhesive for acrylic. I'll dig up the part number and put it in the description if anybody's curious. It's not terribly expensive. I used 1 tube and 1 nozzle. This was a little over $25, and I was able to borrow a glue gun. So I'm getting ahead of myself. Here I am getting the first LED panel. It's just a 12 by 12 cheap panel off Amazon. It's definitely showing a lot of promise, aside from some of the extra fastener holes that show through from the flange being backlit. But I've got a couple ideas on how to correct that and make it look a little better. So jumping in now to the, I believe this is the Buick logo, and I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer so you see what's going on. Yeah, here we go, starting with the external ring, trying not to scratch everything as the stud's sticking out. It's pretty easy to scratch the surface up. Yeah, same deal, getting the overall shield shape. And we're skipping ahead now to drilling and getting ready for the rib nuts. Could have went a lot fancier, but decided to just do 1/4 fasteners in the corners. Keep it simple. So I'm gonna quick cut this just a little bit, but I've got the cheap Amazon rib nut kit. Little trick I like to do, I like to measure the rib nuts with a pair of dial calipers. Go into your number and letter drill index. Not everybody has one, I know, but makes it really easy. These ones were, I think they measured 350 and I got a 348 drill, and they just snugly pressed in. I think I tapped a few of them with a hammer. So makes a really nice fit on the rib nut, and I had pretty good luck with that and not having them spin. I do have a little boo-boo coming up. So that one bolt was fighting me, and they were stainless bolts. It was zinc coated steel rib nuts, but it bound up on me and didn't want to come out, didn't want to go in. Typical stainless galling situation. So I grabbed, here we go. So small brain moment there, not having my safety glasses on, but I cut it off with bolt cutters just so I didn't have to grind anywhere near the acrylic. Then went back in, cut it out with a grinder, punched out the old one, and pressed in the new one that you just saw. So here I am doing a quick test fit of all of the colored acrylic pieces and getting those laid out. I'll bring you in for a quick walkthrough in just a moment, blowing off some of the chips and dust. And really, I'm just so happy with this. This is going to look really sharp. While I take some quick measurements, I will mention that I was going to offer this for sale. I thought it was a cool thing, and then I don't want to. So unless you offer me an exorbitant amount of money, I'm not going to. I won't bore you with me modeling components, but I wanted to make spacers to fit in between the 3 light boxes. I thought bolting them together would make them look like one continuous box, and I wanted this like feeling of 3 individual pieces. So here are the parts off the bamboo, printed in matte black. What else? So coming back in now, taking the panels out and getting ready to glue them so the glue can be setting up while I assemble the boxes together. Clearing off some space here and then bringing the old bed sheets back as a soft surface. So coming in close, there we go. I've got a drip cloth and then getting the Loctite gun ready to put some schmoo on it. So this was pretty uneventful. It did have a pretty long open time, and here I am with a light just checking fitment and making sure that there's no bubbles. Squeezing out all of the bubbles that I can. So while that's curing, jumping back to bolting everything together. I did have a little snafu. Some of the holes didn't line up one layer to the next. I had to trim some of the alignment features off my 3D prints. Just manufacturing tolerances from whoever made these things. But here I am bending up some wire clips. I like to use this trick just to use welding rod to make retaining clips like I show in the image there. Makes it just an easy way to print features into parts and retain them in other parts. So now comes the fun, slightly sketchy assembly portion. Luckily I have pictures that I can refer back to from when this was built. I know about where the studs should be. So here I am using a magnet, finding the screws, measuring off the center line with the laser, transferring that because I wanted it centered over the window. My architect consultant told me to center over the window for aesthetics. Wink, wink. Here come the back brackets. That was hard to say. It took a few tries. Squaring those on, Cleco, rivets, the whole deal. So I've got a pretty good feeling that when I hold this up on the wall, it's gonna, go where it should. But here's the part that gave me some pause of how do I get this thing up there. So pulling a Jimmy DiResta, just doing what I can, and then I'll think about the rest in a moment. Ended up putting an eye bolt on the ceiling, and there I am with a ratchet strap, and I'm just using it as just in a pulley arrangement so I can pull down with, yeah, there you go. So pulling it up, it's got enough friction that it becomes pretty easy to hold once you get it close, and then tying it off in roughly the floating position. There I am, like a little nervous, but hey, it's working so far. So grab a gun, grab some screws, hold it up the rest of the way. It's within an inch or two, I think, or a few. But getting that first screw in, and then, after that, I feel a lot better about the whole deal. So, scooching the ladder over and getting it up. I got a level sitting in place, so yeah, put an eyeball on it, make sure it's really close to level, and zip. After some thought on this, I feel confident in the connections to the wall, but I've already got the eye bolt and the eye hook there, so why not put a safety chain on it? Just a little belt and suspenders to make me feel better, because weird things happen, but I don't suspect it's going anywhere. So here's the moment. I do tape up the cord a little bit. I want to, and a quick shot of me all happy because it looks pretty awesome. So I had a few requests for my box and pan brake. This is a shop-made box and pan brake utilizing laser cut components and off-the-shelf bar stock. So here I am spinning it around in Fusion, just to show what the overall. This was meant to be a low-cost 2-foot box and pan brake, independent handles for the left and right side, turnbuckles, heim joints, and I'll call it a modest cost unit. So I did 3D print some handles. This was back when I first got into dual color printing on the bamboo, so I might do this a little differently as opposed to making separate components. I probably would just do this by painting faces, but yeah, I had some requests for the files, so I whipped up this quick document just to give a quick parts list, a rundown of the steel components from your local steel supplier or Metals Depot, whatever you prefer. The bolts I like to order from Bolt Depot if you have enough, especially to cover the shipping cost, and of course laser cut parts from Suncut Send. So the lit Buick Olds Pontiac sign was definitely the biggest side quest of the week, and the plans for it went back a few weeks now to get material and stuff ordered, but really fits the vision, like this space that I wanted over top of my office window when you walk in. I saw a guy online years ago that had an old dealership sign that said Pontiac, and I always thought that was kind of cool. And all the elements just lined up. As far as the light boxes and then having them sitting in front of the Buick kind of put that idea in my brain. So that was the biggest thing. The box and pan brake, the files will be available. There'll be a link to my Google Drive in the description. Let me know if you have any questions. I tried to make it clear, but I also built it 2 years ago, so some of that stuff I'm going from memory or trying to look at my old orders to see what was in there. Beyond that, I did improve my lighting, so I have ChatGPT taught me about key lighting and fill lighting and trying to make it a little better. I could definitely tell that I look more alive in the video, so that's cool. Yeah, I think that's enough of me rambling. Any questions, let me know. This is, every week I'm seeing more and more views on my videos, which is really cool. So thank you guys out there that are watching them, and you're motivating me to keep going and keep sharing stuff. So I think that's all before I get sappy. Thanks, and see you guys later.